Both those young ladies with the stars on their helmets were so excited they got it. The jam started a little bit early, but they have relined up, and this jam is on.
Well, fans, you can see that there are 2 skaters on the track, one for each team, wearing a cap on their helmet that has a star. Those are the jammers, and they are the ones responsible for scoring points for their respective teams.
That's right. Points are scored when they get through the pack, lap the pack, and as they come all the way back around, every player they pass would count as a point. Right now, that was a wise move by the lead jammer to call it off. They were neck and neck, and that would have been a no-win situation for really either one of them.
Now, those jammers start scoring points after they've gotten out of the pack the first time. As soon as they lap the opposing skaters for the first time, that's when they pick up points. So they don't do it on their first trip around.
And this jam is on right now. The first one, I want to also mention that the first jammer out of the pack, the first lady with the star on her helmet out of the pack, right there, indicates that she is the lead jammer right now. Scratcher in the eye is your lead jammer, so therefore she is in control of this jam, meaning she can call it off at any time.
And as she passes the Guns N' Rollers blockers, she is picking up 1 point per blocker that she passes. Scratcher in the eye calls off the jam by putting her hands to her hips, and the Heartless Heathers have scored the first 2 points in the bout.
That's right. They've taken advantage right there by putting a couple points out there. Now, in case you're wondering who the heck are the rest of those young ladies out there without the stars on their helmet, they are the blockers. They are the ones that make up the pack.
Those blockers are tasked with playing both offense and defense simultaneously, trying to help their jammer get through the pack while impeding the opposing jammer.
That's right. A lot of times they're going to be focusing on trying to stop their jammer, but there's always one of them players out there that's going to try and get their jammer through.
You can see the 2 skaters in the front of the pack trying to hold back Ivana Thrasher of the Guns N' Rollers.
Really nice play right there. And the Heartless Heathers, you got a lead jammer. Les Mis out in front.
Ivana Thrasher still trying to get past those Heartless Heathers blockers. Now she is clear of the pack. She is not the lead jammer, but she can still score points for the Guns N' Rollers.
Les Mis has re-engaged the pack. She did get bumped out of bounds. Now, an interesting point. You cannot enter in front of players on the track. That would be a cut had she done that. So wisely, she called off that jam as the other jammer was coming around.
Well, and you saw the Guns N' Rollers blocker, Frankenherder, was the one who pushed Les Mis out of bounds. Like I said, those blockers are playing both offense and defense at the same time. Now, King, what about those skaters with the stripe on their helmet?
Well, they are the pivots. They are kind of like the field generals out there. Also, interestingly, they can get a star pass. We might see one of those tonight. One other thing I'd like to bring up that you're wondering about penalties. Why is there right now a high roller sitting in that Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box? She committed a penalty, and there's a couple different types of penalties.
Those include elbowing, low blocks, blocks to the head, direction of play penalties, and numerous others.
There's also track penalties. You cannot skate out of bounds or the reverse direction and make contact with players. There was 4 points picked up on that pass. Really nice move by the Heartless Heathers. Right now they've commanded a 10-point lead. Right now it held Guns N' Rollers to a big goose egg.
Lined up on the Ron Tonkin Fiat Jam line for the Guns N' Rollers, number 21, Untamed Shrew.
And scratcher in the eye for the Heartless Heathers. Scratch in the eye, trying to make her way inside. Nice strong wall, though, being placed up by the Guns N' Rollers. So far, they are not letting her through. As I say that, she finds the light of day on turn number 2. Scratcher in the eye is your lead jammer.
Untamed Shrew out of the pack for the Guns N' Rollers. Remember, she is not the lead jammer, but she can still score points.
Right now, looks like Guns N' Rollers are trying to get up front, but the ladies in blue are trying to shut them down. As she engaged that pack, she picked up her points and picked up 4 points, wisely calling it off before Guns N' Rollers could get out there. Looks like there's going to be an official timeout on the track.
And fans, there are 2 types of timeouts in roller derby. There is an official timeout, called by the officials whenever they need a timeout. They can call as many of them as they like.
That's right. Typically they do this also so they can figure out what, make sure that all the penalties have been assessed, make sure that all the points are right on the board. This is a good thing.
The other type of timeouts are timeouts taken by the teams. Teams are limited to 3 timeouts per bout, not per half, per bout. Those last 1 minute in length, but again, they only get 3 of them.
And it looks like they're settling up. They're still signaling there's an official timeout, but the ladies are ready to play. They're all prepped, ready, and in position, waiting for this timeout to end. So I want to hear it. Where are my Heartless Heather fans out there? What about my GNR fans?
And what about some of our special guests tonight, like the Timbers Army? Welcome one and all, we are happy to have you.
And the whistle has finally blown. Looks like Slay Miz tried to sneak around that outside corner, but just couldn't get past Scarleen.
Up front, it's Ivana Thrasher jamming for the Guns N' Rollers, and she is your lead jammer.
Nice big hit by Juvie Hall on Blast Unicorn, but she got called on a penalty for that. She's going to be cooling her heels right there in the pass blue ribbon penalty box.
Ivana Thrasher calling off the jam, but not before picking up a full 5 points. 5 points, the most points you can pick up in one scoring pass, also known as a grand slam in roller derby.
That's right. She did it the hard way with with the blocker, or excuse me, with the jammer of the opposing team still out on the track. These ladies are lining up in the back. They're going to try and shut down Scald Eagle.
Mel Mangles jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Mel Mangles out front, and she is your lead jammer as Roller Eclipse being sent to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
Right now, there was a pack advantage for the Heartless Heathers, so Scald Eagle right now having a hard time trying to get out. There's only 2 blockers currently out there. Oh, and a cut major being called on Scald Eagle. That's going to put a half a 6-pack in that Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box, all wearing pink and black.
Mel Mangles works her way through the pack, untouched 5-point grand slam. The reason she gets all 5 points, she passed the 2 Guns N' Rollers blockers on the track and also gets a point for each Guns N' Roller skater in the penalty box.
Oh, Frankenherder with a nice scooping sweep to the outside, kept her out there. Looks like there might have been a penalty called. Nope.
4-point scoring pass for Mel Mangles. She passed 1 skater that was out of bounds, so she does not get that point.
Huge hit by Frankenherder, and Mel Mangles took it like a champ and kept right on going, picking up another 5 points. Right now we got an even pack advantage, 3-on-3 in the in the blocker war in the pack. Still though, scratcher in the eye, all out there by herself.
Keep in mind, Scald Eagle jammer for the Guns N' Rollers currently in the penalty box. After she serves her minute penalty, she will be rejoining the action on the track.
Rorschach Tess really pushed it out to her, trying to slow her down. She did a pretty good job with positionally blocking her, but scratcher in the eye, such a powerful jammer.
Nice move by Rorschach Tess, forcing Scratcher in the eye to the outside. Scratcher recovers though. She is through the pack, and that is a 5-point grand slam for the Heartless Heathers.
That was fantastic moves right there by Scald Eagle, keeping herself in bounds and not picking up those points, not getting knocked out.
Scald Eagle bowling over the Blast Unicorn through the pack on her initial pass.
Another huge hit on Scratcher in the eye. She wisely calls it off as she knew Scald Eagle was coming around the jam.
Hey now, we'd like to tell everybody about Big Brothers Big Sisters Sports Buddies program. RCR is a Sports Buddies partner encouraging young people to get out there and get active. That's big brothers, big sisters.
Super six-pack out there for the Guns N' Rollers.
Slay Miz jamming for the Heartless Heathers.
Slay Miz right now in the back of the pack getting jammed, knocked around.
Super six-pack works her way around that front two wall of Heather's blockers on her way to lead jammer status.
Frankenherder with some fantastic positional blocking. Slowed Slay Miz all the way down, but she has finally breached that pack.
Scarlene drops French Tickler in the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Super six-pack calls off the jam after picking up 4 points.
Rose City Rollers sponsored by New Belgian Brewing Company, Fat Tire Ranger IPA. Grab one from concessions right now. That's New Belgian Brewing Company.
Mel Mangles and Ivana Thrasher taking the Tonkin jammer line with the stars on their helmets in this next jam.
Ivana Thrasher jamming once again for the Guns N' Rollers.
Really nice move. Outside to in. Mel Mangles is your lead jammer.
Some great footwork on display there by Mel Mangles, while some excellent blocking going on in the pack. Nacho Lucky Day, Behexen and the Blast Unicorn holding back Ivana Thrasher.
Looks like there is a penalty being called out there. Oh, and French Tickler's headed to the box. Not too pleased by that call.
Unreal Hooligan versus Mel Mangles in the front of the pack. Rorschach Tess up to help out. But a 5-point grand slam for Mel Mangles.
Rorschach trying to work her way through right now. Nice hit on the inside. Oh, she found an opening, and she's finally out of that pack.
Low block penalty sending Unreal Hooligan to the penalty box, joining Rorschach Tess.
Right now, penalties playing a part for the Guns N' Rollers, not being able to maintain any kind of momentum in this game.
Chicken Time Bomb drawing the cut penalty on Mel Mangles, which is sending her to the penalty box. Ivana Thrasher now and the Guns N' Rollers in a power jam.
That's right. That's exactly what the Guns N' Rollers needed right now, is a power jam to get them back in this game. 5 points being picked up by Ivana Thrasher on that last pass. No pack being called. They've got to let her go. There's 5 more points.
Chicken Time Bomb now being sent to the penalty box for the Guns N' Rollers.
No room at the end down there. The penalty box right now is full for the Guns N' Rollers, so she's got to stay out there on the track.
Outside of a few select instances, teams can only have 2 blockers and 1 jammer at most in the penalty box. That's why Chicken Time Bomb was sent back out on the track.
The Delta Cafe, amazing Southern fare, big eats and stiff drinks. Magic Pony's favorite, that's the Delta Cafe.
And there's a timeout on the track. We're gonna send it down to DJ Agent Meow.
All right, team timeout over. We are about ready to get action back on the track.
Scald Eagle out there taking the Fiat jammer line for the Guns N' Rollers.
Scald Eagle, the only jammer on the track right now. Mel Mangles serving out the remainder of her penalty from the last jam.
Scald Eagle, such an absolutely powerful jammer, just pushed her way, willed her way right through that Heartless Heather's line. Mel Mangles has re-engaged the back of the pack.
Scald Eagle pushed to the inside, has to come back in behind the Blast Unicorn, who was the one who put that hit on her.
Scald Eagle getting knocked around like a pinball in there, but she makes her way through. Picks up 4 more points for Guns N' Rollers.
Right behind her, though, Mel Mangles for the Heartless Heathers, putting 4 points of her own on the board.
Joe's Burgers, 4 locations, awesome burgers, the official feeder of our RCR volunteers. Thank you, Joe's Burgers.
So we are about halfway through this first half of play. Heartless Heathers on top, 44-27.
And taking that Fiat jammer line, 2 of my favorite jammers, Super 6-pack and Scratcher in the eye. Both jammers are released. Scratcher in the eye just did a huge leap to the inside. She's clear, and your lead jammer.
Heartless Heathers taking advantage of the 4-on-2 blocker situation. Super 6-pack having to contend with all 4 Heartless Heathers blockers.
And Scratcher in the eye caught everybody looking the other way. She creeps right up that inside line and got 5 more points.
Track cut penalty being called on Super 6-pack. That is sending her to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
And Effie Stoneham's following her in with a low block penalty.
Rorschach Test joins them in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box, also a track cut penalty.
Chicken Time Bomb playing some nice defense. Oh, a really nice hit. Knocking Scratcher in the eye to the deck, and she is forced to call off this jam.
Hey, we'd like to thank K's Watering Hole and proud sponsor of the RCR since 2007. That's K's Bar. Starts with a K, ends with an A.
Yay!
And we've got an official timeout down on the track. Guns N' Rollers coach Baxter Morgan out to talk to the referee crew.
Well, right now the score, they pushed it back up. It's 53-27. Guns N' Rollers has some momentum going. And what they had done is controlled their penalties and put the Heathers in the penalty box. And really, this is showing what penalties can do to a team when they're playing a little sloppy.
Well, and apparently, fans, this is an official review. So we're going to take the time to send out the Purple Rain with the T-shirt cannon.
That's right, get up and get loud.
Nice shot.
Just a question of who the penalty was called on for the hit on the down skater. That was it.
Okay. Well, you know, you got to be safe out there. We want to make sure skaters, when they're down, aren't getting hurt or anything like that. It's a tough enough sport for ladies to play. Hard hits out there as they are.
So with Super 6-pack in the penalty boxes, the GNR jammer, Slay Miz, the only jammer of record.
That was a really nice move by the Blast Unicorn. She swept to the inside, opened up a big enough hole. Slay Miz took advantage of that and pushed her way right on through.
Some more great offense there by Nacho Lucky Day, allowing Slay Miz to get through. Excellent teamwork on the part of the Heathers.
And that's 5 more points being picked up by Slay Miz on that pass. Nice offensive moves, trying to lock down Frankenherder in the back. And yeah, once you got one of those players back there, it's really hard to control a jammer on those power jams.
Bacchanalia, Blast Unicorn, and Nacho Lucky Day doing a great job blocking for the Heathers right now.
Super 6-pack has re-engaged. She served her time, and she's trying to get through that big blue wall.
5-point grand slam for the Heartless Heathers.
Lots of hitting right now, battling for position. Slay Miz gets through, picks up her points, wisely calls it off as Super Six Pack was working her way around that track.
Hey, if you ever wanted to meet the future of car sharing, check out cars2go.com, huge sponsor of the environment. Cars to Go.
Once again, seems to be the matchup of the night. Ivana Thrasher and Mel Mangles taking that Fiat Jammer line.
Well, King, maybe a little known trivia fact, but both skaters used to skate for Rainy City up in Centralia.
That's a cool fact.
Ivana Thrasher battling against that three-wall of Heathers up front.
Lots of hitting on both teams inside right now. Mel Mangles, though, shutting down Ivana Thrasher. Looks like she's going to try and do a little move called Eat the Baby.
Chicken Time Bomb trying to stop Mel Mangles, but Mel Mangles through for lead jammer status for the Heathers.
Now that was a really heads-up move by Mel Mangles as a jammer. She slowed down the other jammer long enough for the rest of the team to suck her back up in there, and Ivana Thrasher hasn't even gotten out of the pack yet.
Well, and that was some great teamwork by Mel and French Tickler there, holding back Ivana on that initial run through the pack.
Mel Mangles forced her way right through the middle, and she picks up 5 points, a natural grand slam.
Juvie Hall lands herself in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. Ivana Thrasher still trying to work her way through that pack on her initial pass.
Really nice wall right there by GNR, but Mel Mangles, one player left to beat. She's worked her way through. Scarlene's got to let her go so she doesn't pick up a penalty. Mel Mangles, really powerful jamming right there. Picks up 5 more points for her effort. Magic Pony, what do you got?
I want to thank Doc Bones, the official bone cracker of the RCR since 2006. Check out docbones.com to find out more information about Bridgetown Chiropractic.
Nacho Lucky Day lined up on the jam line for the Heartless Heathers.
And Scald Eagle's going to be battling it out with her on that jammer line. Both ladies going around the outside. Not your lucky day, though, is your lead jammer.
I bet she can hear the wings flapping, though. Scald Eagle out of the pack on her initial pass.
Hey, we'd like to thank the Open Space Cafe, Brunch Bar, Wi-Fi. Embrace the pace of the Open Space Cafe. Huge shout out to Oaks Amusement Park, the home of the hangar, the home of your Rose City Rollers. Thank you, Oaks Park.
Man, I love Oaks Park. Such a great place.
Untamed Shrew jamming for the Guns N' Rollers. Slay Miz jamming for the Heartless Heathers.
That was a great move to the outside. She saw that opening and she capitalized on it. Untamed Shrew tried to follow her up, but French Tickler is just knocking the snot out of her there in turn number 4.
That was a great cascading wall with French Tickler and Bacchanalia. However, Untamed Shrew fights her way through, and she is clear on her initial pass.
You said it right. She definitely had to fight her way through. Right now, Slay Miz up front. There's a 2-wall up there trying to slow her down. Wisely, she calls it off to protect those points.
We'd like to thank PDX Pipeline, your online source for Portland's music, arts, and events. That's PDX Pipeline.
Heathers on a sizable run right now, up 81-27, but there's still more than 10 minutes left to play in this first half.
Right now, the Jammers trying to figure out how they're going to get through the middle of that pack. Scald Eagle outside and cuts to the end, but she gets stopped with a nice 2-wall. I guess I said she got stopped a little too soon. She's blasted her way through. She's your lead jammer.
Taddy Munster tried to hold her back, but Scald Eagle proving too much. Scratch her in the eye, still trying to work her way through on her initial pass. Switches up to defense, trying to slow down Scald Eagle.
And unfortunately, Chicken Time Bomb had to take a seat in the penalty box for a cut major. Scald Eagle, though, with a grand slam of her own, picks up 5 points on that pass. Both teams right now battling for position in the inside. They're trying to get to the front of the pack and make it so Scald Eagle's harder to score those points.
High block sending You're Gonna Be Sorry to the penalty box as Scald Eagle calls off the jam, picking up 2 more points for the Guns N' Rollers.
Kelly Brown, debt relief. Kelly Brown likes roller derby, and we love Kelly Brown. That's Kelly Brown, debt relief.
Who was that again?
Kelly Brown.
All right, Kelly Brown likes roller derby. And she likes to get rid of your debt relief. Ivana Thrasher once again, Mel Mangles. I'm going to be saying this all night, I have a feeling. Both these jammers take off. Ivana Thrasher tries to make her way on the inside. Huge hit on the out, but she goes to the end. She's through as your lead jammer.
Impressive teamwork by the Guns N' Rollers there. Ivana Thrasher was up against 4 Heartless Heathers, originally Nacho Lucky Day, now being sent to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
Wisely, she called off that jam to protect those points. No points by either team being scored on that last jam. Magic Pony?
Looking for a home loan? Let Jessica Chestnuts be your guide. Jessica Chestnuts and Guild Home Loans. They'll get you there.
Both teams going to start with a 1 blocker in the penalty box. Scald Eagle on the jam line for the Guns N' Rollers.
Slay Miz going to be battling it out against her. Both jammers hit the back of that pack. Scald Eagle comes out as the winner and your lead jammer.
Slay Miz clearing the pack on her initial pass. Not many skaters left out on the track. Blast Unicorn headed to the penalty box for the Heartless Heathers. And we've got a track cut penalty, excuse me, a forearm penalty being called on Headache.
It looks like a swing and a miss on the outside. Slay Miz tried to get through. Nice effort, but no point scored on that pass.
Hey, test drive a Ron Tonkin Fiat today and get some free roller derby tickets. That's at Ron Tonkin Fiat.
Super 6-pack, scratcher in the eye. Another one of my favorite matchups. Once again on that jammer line.
Guns N' Rollers find themselves with a 2-blocker advantage out on the track right now. Super 6-pack through. She is your lead jammer for the Guns N' Rollers.
She's got 1 player left to beat, but scratcher in the eye is still stuck in that pack. And GNR has swooped in and enveloped her.
Scratcher in the eye looked like she was trying to take a body whip off of Juvie Hall, who is not her teammate.
And you can't do that. Nice hit by Scratcher. She took out Super 6-pack and is leading her right on back. Looks like everybody's content to stand there and let the clock run, because they don't want to take that cut. Interesting fact, if the jammer knocks the other jammer out, they can take her all the way back around.
So basically what has happened was Scratcher in the Eye knocked Super 6-pack out of bounds. Super 6-pack can't enter in front of her legally, she has to enter behind her. Instead of skating, we just chose to stand around for about 30 seconds.
Well, you know, got to figure out your strategy, burn some time, get those players back in the game. I guess that's what you got to do. Super 6-pack in the back of that pack right now takes a huge hit by Headache.
Scratcher in the Eye battling 2 Guns N' Rollers blockers up front. Juvie Hall now being sent to the penalty box for blocking out of play.
Super 6-pack still trying to navigate that, and they are just punishing her on the inside. She calls off this jam as Scratcher in the Eye was working her way around.
Hey, I want to talk about DerbyFit.com and Spark by Advocare. DerbyFit.com. Spark, rock, recover, repeat. RCR's independent Advocare distributor.
Scald Eagle jamming for the Guns N' Rollers. Mel Mangles jamming for the Heartless Heathers.
Looks like both teams came out through the middle. Mel Mangles, though, is your lead jammer.
And unlike the pack last jam, this pack at a breakneck pace right now.
That's right. It looks like it is going to be a foot race to the back of the pack.
Mel Mangles trying to snake out points. No points for the Heathers, 2 points for the Guns N' Rollers.
As she hit the back of that pack, she tried to muscle her way through, but was unable to breach it. Magic Pony, what do you got?
I got the Vita Cafe, super tasty, vegetarian and vegan. Food for thought. That's the Vita Cafe.
Vegetarian food for thought.
Right into it. It's still out there.
And it looks like we've got an official timeout down on the track.
They're going to be calling in everybody, and they want to talk about the points, I believe. That would be my guess. Because Mel Mangles, she did hit that pack pretty hard, and I think that they're discussing right now whether or not there were any points scored by the Heathers on that last jam.
So during this official timeout, we're going to bust out the T-shirt cannon!
Get up and get crazy if you want a T-shirt, ladies and gentlemen!
I want a T-shirt.
I know. So if I get up and get crazy, are they going to shoot one over here?
I don't think they'll let us make noise because we have cheaters. We have microphones.
Yeah, we got the microphone. I understand. That's the way that works. Come on, Players Club, get on your feet and get crazy!
Timbers Army, let's hear you make some news!
It's just a question of whether Mel scored points in that last bump up against the wall there.
Apparently the official review, a question as to whether or not Mel Mangles scored any points for the Heathers in that last jam. So it looks like the officiating crew has that hammered out. Ivana Thrasher going to start on the jam line for the Guns N' Rollers. Slay Miz for the Heartless Heathers. Frankenherder forcing Slay Miz out of bounds. Scald Eagle fighting at the front of the pack against Nacho Lucky Day. Excuse me, that's Ivana Thrasher. She is through for lead jammer status for the Guns N' Rollers.
Frankenherder with a nice hit on the outside. She's taking Slay Miz all the way to the back of that pack.
French Tickler introducing Ivana Thrasher to the track.
Oh, French Tickler got hit with a high, or called to with a high hit penalty. She's going to be cooling her wheels in the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. Things just got brutal, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of big hits. Let's get some rowdiness. Where's my cadavers over the Heather zone?
Nacho Lucky Day being sent to the penalty box for a low block at the end of that last jam. She joins French Tickler. Now it's Scald Eagle jamming for the Guns N' Rollers.
Scratcher in the eye and Scald Eagle putting on the stars for their teams. A lot of hard hits. They both come out. Oh, and Scratcher in the eye is your lead jammer.
Untamed Shrew forces Scratcher in the eye out of turn 4.
Scratcher in the eye did get the lead jammer status, and it looks like she's going to call it off as she got ate up by that pack.
Well, and King, when your team is in the lead as the Heartless Heathers are, that is exactly a strategy you can employ.
We'd like to thank Sock Dreams, unique, sexy, comfy socks for the roller derby girl and everyone. Check out their new RCR socks today.
Unique, sexy, and comfy?
Yeah, I got some on right now.
Dang. I got a sock dream. Ivana Thrasher, Mel Mangles once again putting on the stars and taking that jammer line for their teams.
Guns N' Rollers up 4-2 in the blocker department. And Ivana Thrasher through. She is your lead jammer. Blast Unicorn tried to swallow her back up into the pack.
Mel Mangles still trying to get through this pack right now. Really nice wall set up in the front by the Guns N' Rollers.
That's Chicken Time Bomb, Frankenherder, and Yo Gonna Be Sorry doing a great job holding back Mel Mangles. Thrasher taking a huge hit from French Tickler. And a track cut being called on Ivana Thrasher will send her to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
Oh, but coming right behind her, Mel Mangles with a high block. This is going to be one of the shortest penalties for these jammers, as you know, it's no fun not having any jammers out there. So as soon as the other jammer sits down, they only have to serve as much time as the last jammer that was in the penalty box.
Ivana Thrasher trying to barrel her way through the pack. Now that both jammers have gone to the penalty box, there is no lead jammer this jam. This jam, fans, will go the full 2 minutes.
Mel Mangles caught everybody looking the other way, and she snuck through on that inside.
Ivana Thrasher still trying to fight her way through that pack. Mel Mangles through the pack.
That was an absolutely beautiful move by Mel Mangles to manage to stay on her feet, stay in bounds, and do a little loop-de-loop around that corner. Picks up 4 points for that nice pass.
Thrasher still battling against Blast Unicorn and French Tickler at the front of the pack. Excellent lockdown defense by two former members of the Wheels of Justice.
Huge hit in corner number 2. Mel Mangles is still down as time runs out. Let's give it up for both of these jammers who just worked incredibly hard to end this half.
To start this second half, Scald Eagle on the jam line for the Guns N' Rollers.
And she's going to be battling it out with Miss Mel Mangles out there.
Penalty box empty to start the second half.
Scald Eagle busts her way through. She's your lead jammer.
Mel Mangles tried to sneak through. French Tickler sent to the penalty box. Mel Mangles also sent to the penalty box for the Heartless Heathers. Guns N' Rollers in a power jam.
That's exactly what I was talking about. This is the exact opportunity that they need right now to catch back up in this game. They can pull this off and start strong. There's 5 more points for Scald Eagle. They can work their way right back to where they need to be.
Guns N' Rollers with a 4-3 blocker advantage. Scald Eagle coming up against that wall. Blast Unicorn and Nacho Lucky Day putting up a fight, but Scald Eagle 5-point grand slam. Guns N' Rollers.
That's right. Now, if she gets those 5 points, because of the 2 players that are in the box, they still count as 3 points. When that jammer passes any of the players, she gets those 2 points for those 2 people sitting down.
Again, Scald Eagle finally finding her way around Blast Unicorn and Nacho Lucky Day. Another 5-point grand slam. Jungle, give your team some love.
I will be using that later this bout. Well done.
Super Six Packs out there taking the Tonkin jammer line. She's going to start this in a power jam.
Guns N' Rollers with 4 blockers, 2 blockers for the Heartless Heathers. Super Six Pack through the pack. She is your lead jammer.
Mel Mangles has served her time. She's engaged at the back of the pack, and she is out. Not your lead jammer, though.
Untamed Shrew and Rorschach Tess both headed to the penalty box. Super Six Pack through the pack, calls off the jam, and picks up 4 more points for the Guns N' Rollers.
Hey, we'd like to thank Buffalo Gap Saloon and Eatery, John's Landing's favorite. That's the Buffalo Gap Saloon and Eatery.
17-point game right now. Guns N' Rollers starting off really strong and capitalizing on those penalties.
We got ourselves a light pack out there. 2 blockers for each team. Scald Eagle jamming for the Guns N' Rollers, but it's scratch Scratcher in the eye through the pack first. She is your lead jammer for the Heartless Heathers.
Scald Eagle, a real strong move. She got her hips in front of the Blast Unicorn or eked her way right on down that inside line. Not your lead jammer, but she's out of that pack.
Ivana Thrasher and Frankenherder trying to hold back Scratcher in the eye.
Beautiful move on that apex by Scratcher in the eye. She just kind of found a nice little hole and managed to go on 1 foot to get those points.
Scratcher in the eye choosing to keep the jam going a little longer.
Hey, we want to thank Bridgetown Chiropractic, DocBones.com, Get Adjusted, and support Roller Derby all at the same time. That's Bridgetown Chiropractic.
Super six pack and Slay Ms. Rob out there taking the line as your jammers for this next jam.
Heather starting this jam with a 3-2 blocker advantage. Super six pack push to the outside of turn 1.
Nice hit on the outside. Super six pack is stuck back there, but Slay Miz is out. She's your lead jammer.
Mel Mangles, French Tickler, and Taddy Munster working together to keep Super six pack mired in the back of the pack.
It looks like there was a huge exodus from that pass-through ribbon penalty box. 3 players all at the same time re-emerged back into that pack.
Excellent positional blocking up front by French Tickler on Super six pack. French Tickler now being sent off the track, picks up an out-of-play penalty.
Lots of hits going on in that pack. They're trying to get their jammers out. 4 more points picked up by Slay Miz.
Slay Miz waiting to call it off. GNR the benefactor there, 2 points for the Guns N' Rollers.
Heather's pushing this game up to 23 points.
Scald Eagle on the jam line for the Guns N' Rollers, opposite Nacho Lucky Day for the Heartless Heathers.
Scald Eagle, a nice move on the inside. She's your lead jammer.
Credit to Roller Eclipse for opening that door for Scald Eagle to get through, helping her pick up that lead jammer status.
At the same time, Blast Unicorn was down there. She opened up a hole to get her jammer out. Really nice offensive moves by both teams in there.
Mel Mangles setting up for the intimidation block. Scald Eagle having none of it. 4 points for each jammer in that jam.
Hey, European Wax Center. Visit the European Wax Center in Beaverton for the ultimate body waxing experience. It's my favorite. European Wax Center.
I like my European waxing.
Scratcher in the eye on the jam line for the Heartless Heathers, opposite Untamed Shrew for the Guns N' Rollers.
Untamed Shrew got headache looking the other way, and she blew her way past there, becoming the lead jammer.
Juvie Hall knocking Scratcher in the eye out, and an excellent bit of offense by Taddy Munster against Chicken Time Bomb, setting free Scratcher in the eye.
Nice assist right there by Scarleen, giving her the whip. Untamed Shrew has engaged that pack. 1 person left to get by. She does it and calls off that jam.
That was a 4-point scoring pass for the Guns N' Rollers. 19 points separating these teams as we have under 23 minutes left to play. Heartless Heathers 101, Guns N' Rollers 82.
Scald Eagle and Slay Miz once again taking the Tonkin jammer line with the stars on their helmets.
Nice teamwork by the Heartless Heathers there. Slay Miz free of the pack, and she's your lead jammer for the Heartless Heathers.
I am really impressed with how Slay Miz has emerged as one of the powerful jammers for this Heathers team.
Frankenherder looks like she's...
Nice strong front wall right there by GNR. Slay Miz gets taken out to the outside.
Frankenherder being sent to the penalty box for a high block against Mel Mangles. Scald Eagle clear of the pack now for the Guns N' Rollers.
And that was a really good job containing her by the Heartless Heather. Scald Eagle is not an easy person to contain, and they did it on that jam.
Harajuku Girl trying to slow up Slay Miz, however, a 5-point grand slam for the Heartless Heathers.
Hey everybody, don't forget to check out the back of your program for the ad from TimothyMurrayPhotography.com. Classic black and white film photography and derby images. That's TimothyMurrayPhotography.com.
Untamed Shrew taking the line for the Guns N' Rollers.
Scratcher in the eye, jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Scarleen tries to knock Scratcher in the eye out. Scratcher in the eye, not your lead jammer. She passed a blocker that was out of bounds. So even though Untamed Shrew was out of the pack second, she was the first jammer to be out of the pack legally, and that is what gave her the lead jammer status.
Nobody comes in second at the Nightlife Lounge. That's RCR's favorite Clinton Street bar and the only place to buy RCR tickets in town. That's the Nightlife Lounge.
Nacho Lucky Day taking the line for the Heartless Heathers.
Scald Eagle jamming for the Guns N' Rollers, who are down one blocker to start this jam.
Nacho Lucky Day, a real powerful move from the outside to the middle, and she pushed her way right on through. She's your lead jammer.
Effie Stoneham, Mel Mangles, and Bacchanalia trying to hold back Scald Eagle. Unreal Hooligan with some great offense up front, and Scald Eagle clear on her initial pass.
Juvie Hall tries to jump out there. She did put a hit on her, but Nacho Lucky Day shrugged it off and called off that jam. 4 points for your Heartless Heathers. All right, Heathers fans, let's hear it for them.
Jungle, are you going to take that? Show your team some love. Super six-pack jamming for the Guns N' Rollers. Taddy Munster jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Up against Scarleen at the front of the pack.
Oh, Scarleen a swing, and she got her, but she was too far out. She hit her out of play. She gets a penalty. Taddy Munster is your lead jammer.
Super six-pack push to the outside. Chicken Time Bomb trying to play some offense for her. Mel Mangles and French Tickler got her locked down.
Oh.
Mel Mangles not happy with that call as she is being sent to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. Still angry on that, in that penalty box.
Oh, Taddy Munster getting a lot of swings. She finally jumps out of bounds, seeing Frankenherder bearing down on her.
And a rare call that we've seen there, skating out of bounds, assessed to Taddy Munster, tried to avoid a hit by Frankenherder, and honestly, I'd try and avoid a hit by Frankenherder too.
I can't blame her, man. Frankenherder coming at me like that, I'll run it away too.
I will move to another state to not be hit by Frankenherder.
Right now, GNR's got a power jam situation, and they've got a fast jammer out there. Super six-pack does get knocked out of bounds, but she muscles her way right back in. 5 more points on that pass.
Frankenherder was sent to the penalty box for the Guns N' Rollers.
Right now, there's a pack advantage for the Heartless Heathers. Scarleen comes in and demolishes that front wall.
Scarleen, a one-woman wrecking crew right there.
French Tickler not having it. Muscles, super six-packs out of bounds, and she's taking her all the way back to the apex.
That was a heck of a hit by Scarleen right there.
This jam has run its course. Looks like they are going to call a timeout. The Heartless Heathers right now taking a timeout. Right now we've got a score, 119-95. This is not out of reach.
And in this team timeout, let's turn it over to DJ Agent Meow. she was done. She had her bell wrong. Well, and now we've upgraded the team timeout to an official timeout. So we're gonna let Agent Meow just keep spinning the tunes down there.
All right, since we're gonna be spinning the tunes on this official timeout, I wanna see some sexy people dancing. Who wants to dance out there?
Magic Pony wants to dance.
I know, Magic Pony wanted to dance. I see the guys over there in VIP. Get up and get funky.
Apparently, a clarification regarding proper etiquette while spending time in the penalty box. Not quite sure who that would pertain to.
I have no clue who you are talking about, sir. I am not certain who that could possibly be directed to at all.
None of the girls in this league, I'm quite sure.
Well, the officials are still out there trying to make sure they've got everything in order before we get this jam started. When we come back, there's going to be 2 stars out there and a half pack. Scald Eagle's going to be taking the line, and Scratcher in the Eye, 2 fantastic jammers we have in this league.
And hey, while we're talking about proper etiquette, let's talk about our newest sponsor, Davis Law Offices, a small firm specializing in employment law, civil rights law, family and juvenile law. That's Davis Law.
Head referee Dell from Hell over in the Heartless Heathers bench area addressing Mel Mangles.
Still an official timeout. This is going to keep right on going.
Let me know if that's the case. All right, so it appears as though Mel Mangles is returning to the penalty box for the Heartless Heathers.
Looks like the pack is going to be 2-on-2 to get this next jam started.
Oh, all right. Fair enough, never mind.
And they have whistled. We are going to go ahead and get this jam started again.
It looks as though Mel Mangles was given another minute in the penalty box for the Heartless Heathers.
Scratcher and Scald Eagle take off from that jammer line. Scratcher in the Eyes, your lead jammer.
French Tickler out front against Scald Eagle. French Tickler takes a look at the pack. Still gets whistled for an out-of-play block. Checks in with the penalty box and returns to the track area with 2 blockers already sitting.
Oh, a nice big hit by the Untamed Shrew on Scratcher in the Eye, and that's straightaway. She forced her to call off that jam. Still got 3 points for her effort.
Visit OHSUSportsmedicine.com for injury prevention and community athlete profiles, including posts by your very own Rose City Rollers. That's OHSUSportsmedicine.com.
Bangers out to address the referee crew about that penalty on French Tickler.
Super six packs out there for the Guns N' Roses Rollers. She's out there trying to get through the inside line, but they did a nice job slowing her down.
And that allowed Slay Miz to pick up lead jammer status for the Heartless Heathers. French Tickler chasing down 6-pack again.
And it looks like the Guns and Rollers right now have got their team back out there. They've got a full complement, 4 blockers. Slay Miz calls this off.
And the Heathers with 2 blockers still in the penalty box means French Tickler has to continue to stay out on the track. Oh, nope. Those blockers are standing, which indicates they have less than 10 seconds left on their penalties. This is one of those rare times where a team can have 3 blockers in the penalty box.
Taddy Munster and Scald Eagle taking the line. Scald Eagle having no problem getting past 1 player, as she shouldn't. She's your lead jammer. GNR, give him some love!
Taddy Munster knocked to the outside of the far fairway. Mel Mangles and Bacchanalia cycling up, trying to hold back Scald Eagle, but she's through for a 5-point grand slam, Guns and Rollers.
Mel Mangles right now, a wrecking ball in that pack, knocking players all over the place. Chicken Time Bomb, huge hit on Slay Miz.
Chicken Time Bomb has been playing some great defense in the back of the pack for the Guns and Rollers, and we've got a track cut penalty on Taddy Munster. GNR in a power jam now.
And this is what I was talking about. This is the opportunity GNR needs to take advantage of, and there's 5 more points.
It's time for some jungle love. Make some noise for your Guns and Rollers!
There's 5 more points being picked up by the Scald Eagle.
We are at a 9-point bout now.
It is into single digits.
Scald Eagle attacking once again through. 5-point grand slam. Guns and Rollers.
GNR right now is doing everything right. They have capitalized on this power jam, and they are
huge hit by French Tickler on Scald Eagle. And Scald Eagle through for another 5-point grand slam.
We have a lead change out there. 125, 124. GNR just took the lead. Jungle, let's hear some love! Cadavers, let's hear some love! All right, Timber Aubrey, this is where you get excited!
Official timeout on the track.
That's right, with this kind of exciting game, the officials definitely want to make sure they've got everything in order.
Head referee Del from Hell over addressing the Guns and Rollers bench. T-shirt cannon. I love the T-shirt cannon.
Untamed Shrew, scratcher in the eye. Looks like they're going to be the next jammers out there.
Harajuku girl has been sent to the penalty box.
I have no idea what's going on.
Pandemonium and chaos, our favorite things.
That's right. It is roller derby, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we get crazy.
There are rules here.
I know. Doesn't mean insanity can't ensue. Once again, there's 12 minutes and 45 seconds. 125, 124. The Guns and Rollers, who have been down the entire game, have just taken the lead. I just want to make sure you guys were aware of this in case you were not paying attention.
The whole bout. They've been behind the whole bout.
That's right.
Now they're in the lead. That's exciting.
Very exciting.
People should be cheering.
Yay.
There should be cheering. Thank you. Thank you. You know, one of these points I'm going to tell these people that if they don't cheer louder, I'm going to start singing.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm serious.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want me to sing. I'll start.
It'll be the Chex King duet time.
I'll have Meow play some Lady Gaga, and you and I
Apparently
will sing.
nothing happened.
Nothing happened? All right, then. That's excellent.
All right, fans, get back on your feet. We're about to get this thing rolling again.
Again, scratcher in the eye, jamming for the Heartless Heathers. Frankenherder making life difficult for her.
Scratcher in the eye, around the apex on the outside. She's your lead jammer.
Untamed Shrew out of the pack now for the Guns N' Rollers. Mel Mangles and Frankenherder battling in the back of the pack.
Right now, the Heartless Heathers have numbers, and they are utilizing it. They just took back the lead.
So what happened during that last official timeout was there was a delay of game, and that is ultimately why Harajuku Girl ended up in the penalty box.
All right, still a pack advantage right now for the Heartless Heather. There's only 2 GNR players right now on the track. Well, with the exception of Ivana Thrasher, who's her jammer.
Nice defense to start by the Guns N' Rollers, trying to hold back Slay. Ivana Thrasher being sent to the Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box. Power jam, Heartless Heathers!
And Slay Miz has the lead jammer status.
Five-point scoring pass. Slay Miz in the Heathers. Fans, this is where those penalties come into play so much.
That was a hot move in the back of that pack. She juked one way and went to the inside, picked up those 5 points easily.
Artemis Foulmouth now headed to the penalty box for the Guns N' Rollers.
Slay Miz really showing her stuff out there for the Heartless Heathers fans. She is totally emerged as one of the greatest jammers they have on this team right now.
Excellent teamwork by Chicken Time Bomb and Rorschach Test to force Slay Miz to the inside of turn 3.
No points being scored on that pass, but they're going to get a fresh jammer out there and contain. It looks like there's 3 players right now in that Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box for the Guns N' Rollers.
Heartless Heathers reestablishing an 18-point lead.
Last Unicorn right now going to the outside. We're trying to work her way around. She gets a nice big hit. Oh, and Frankenherder hit her too. She stays on her feet, goes around the outside. She's your lead jammer.
Ivana Thrasher out of the penalty box and through the pack, all ready for the Guns N' Rollers.
Oh, and a huge, huge sweeping move and hit.
Nice move by Ivana Thrasher to get around Mel Mangles for a second. Mel quick to recover though.
And the Blast Unicorn got called with a back block. She is going to be cooling her wheels for the next minute in that Pabst Blue Ribbon penalty box.
French Tickler headed to the penalty box once again. I do believe that is her 7th, but we will check on that. Ivana Thrasher fighting her way through the front of the pack. Grand Slam, Guns N' Rollers. Harajuku Girl now being sent back to the penalty box for the Guns N' Rollers.
Ivana Thrasher works her way around Mel Mangles. She picks up 5 more points. GNR, they're creeping back in this one again.
What an amazing bout this has been, and we still have more than 8 minutes left on the clock. Mel Mangles trying to draw that cut.
A huge hit, taking Ivana Thrasher down to the deck.
Mel Mangles now being sent off the track.
Another huge hit. That was on Scald Eagle hitting.
5-point grand slam for Avada Thrasher as Mel comes around to the penalty box. Only 3 points separating these two teams. Frankenherder draws the track cut penalty now. Blast Unicorn headed to the penalty box, and Avada Thrasher, 5-point grand slam, Guns N' Rollers.
This bout just got even more intense. 2-point lead for the Guns N' Rollers.
Just a reminder for RCR alumni who are in the building, they'll be doing an RCR alumni group photo down at the VIP bar right after this bout. RCR alumni, please report to the VIP bar right after this bout for an alumni photo.
We've got ourselves an official timeout down on the track. Fans, we have a score of 147, Heartless Heathers 145, Guns N' Rollers. What happened was the Blast Unicorn had scored 2 points on her scoring pass before being sent to the penalty box. Those points are not counted right away, but instead, when the jam ends, that's when she's awarded those points. Heartless Heathers right now up by 2.
Blue Jammer did not actually commit a penalty in there, the cut that she went to the box for, so she will be released.
That's the Blast Unicorn sounding like she will be released from the penalty box. She is ecstatic about that. No, maybe not.
Still officially reviewing what is going on out there. I know one thing's for sure, Untamed Shrew right now has got the star on her helmet for the Guns N' Rollers.
We work with what little bit we know.
She's going to be joined by a scratcher in the eye. Little love going out there before the battle begins.
Untamed Shrew fighting on the outside through turn 1. Scratcher in the eye being held back by Chicken Time Bomb.
And Untamed Shrew pushes her way around the outside in that straightaway. She's your lead jammer. Oh, swing and a miss. Scratcher in the eye managed to get her way around. Chicken Time Bomb, she's not your lead jammer though.
Untamed Shrew fighting along the far straightaway. Nice blocking by Tatty Munster and Bacchanalia. Shrew calling off the jam, but not before she picks up 2 more points.
This is a tied game.
And Derby fans, I was correct. French Tickler had received her 7th penalty and has been relieved of her duties for the game this evening.
With 7 minutes left, we've got a tie game, 147 apiece.
Holy 4-point scoring pass, Batman.
Scald Eagle tries to work her way around the outside. She's getting knocked around by blue shirts. Cuts to the end, and she's your lead jammer.
Slay Miz guided to the outside by Juvie, Hall, and Onryo Hooligan. Slay Miz trying to jump part of the apex there. Takes a spill. Scald Eagle round the outside. And that, a grand slam for the Guns N' Rollers.
Slay Miz still stuck in that pack. Oh, huge hit by Rorschach. Oh, and another one by Henri, and she gets her out of bounds.
Onryo Hooligan being sent to the penalty box. Slay Miz out of the pack on her initial pass.
Rorschach in there trying to play some offense, trying to be a fullback to Scald Eagle and get her jammer through.
Effie Stoneham trying to slow down Scald Eagle. Mel Mangles pushes her to the outside of turn 2. 2 more points for the Guns N' Rollers, as they have now taken a 7-point lead with under 6 minutes to play.
That's right, it's the biggest lead right now the GNR fans have seen. 6.
Team timeout being called by the Heartless Heathers. DJ Agent Meow, let's hear you make some noise.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, get up and dance now.
That's right, Breakneck Alley showing everybody up with the dance move.
That's right, Breakneck Alley. No, don't sit down. You guys were beautiful over there.
All right, we got some GNR fans showing the...
And we got pom-poms down there in the cadaver section. All right, Timbers Army, where's my dance club up there?
I don't know if soccer fans dance.
I guess they don't.
I bet they do. I bet they secretly do. Ivana Thrasher on the jam line for the Guns N' Rollers. Scratcher in the eye for the Heartless Heathers.
Right now, a slight pack advantage right now. The Heartless Heathers have 4 blockers out there to GNR's 3.
What an amazing bout to start this 2013 season.
Absolutely. Scratcher in the eye. Such a powerful, quick jammer. Runs right through the middle. She's your lead jammer.
Ivana Thrasher providing her own offense. Shrugging off Bacchanalia. She's through the pack on her initial pass.
Beautiful hit by Chicken Time Bomb. Takes Scratcher in the eye out of bounds. She's got to call it off. No points scored on that jam.
And that is the textbook back wall run by Untamed Shrew, Scarleen, and Chicken Time Bomb. That is how you do it.
That was perfect timing by Chicken Time Bomb also.
Now it's Scald Eagle versus Scratcher in the eye on the jam line once again. Scald Eagle pushing on the outside of the front straightaway.
Absolutely huge hit by the Blast Unicorn, taking Scald Eagle out of bounds.
And it's Scratcher in the eye, lead jammer for the Heartless Heathers. Mel Mangles, great defense in the back of the pack on Scald Eagle.
Scald Eagle's trying so hard to get through, and they are locking her down with defense. And as I say that, she jumps on through.
2 points picked up for the Heartless Heathers there. We have a 5-point bout as we cross the 4-minute mark.
Porque no?
Porque yes!
Amazing taqueria food with 2 locations on Mississippi and Hawthorne. That's Porque no.
Heartless Heathers sending out Slay Miz to the jam line. Guns N' Rollers sending out Untamed Shrew.
They start this jam, they go out nice and slow and engage the back of the pack. Looks like jammer on jammer action. Slay Miz trying to snut her down, and then she snuck right through the middle.
Big spill on the far straightaway. Untamed Shrew clear on her initial pass. Bacchanalia being sent to the penalty box.
Slay Miz engaging the back of the pack. She's hitting hits right off the bat.
Gonna be interesting to see. 3 points, Heathers, 2 points, Guns N' Rollers. Under 3 minutes to play.
It's a 4-point game. 156-152 GNR.
Fans, I don't know exactly how much closer you'd like this bout to be, so maybe some cheering, some making some noise.
That's right.
Some yelling, some screaming.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
2.5
That's
minutes.
right, Jungle.
This is where we go crazy.
Scald Eagle jamming for the Guns N' Rollers. Scratcher in the eye for the Heartless Heathers.
And you've got Scald Eagle as your lead jammer.
Scarleen and Ivana Thrasher trying to work over Scratcher in the eye. Oh, what a move! Amazing offense!
And Scratcher in the eye just got a cut major. She's going to the penalty box. There's 2 minutes left, and Scald Eagle's your jammer.
3 on 2 in the pack, favoring the Guns N' Rollers. Mel Mangles and Blast Unicorn, you couldn't have many better blockers out there, but Scald Eagle, 5-point grand slam, Guns N' Rollers.
And I want to credit right now Scarleen for getting up there and giving an offensive block to help her jammer get through.
Frankenherder in the back of the pack playing some great offense too. 5-point grand slam, Scald Eagle.
Scald Eagle trying to get past Mel Mangles. What a fantastic boot by Mel Mangles to do that hip check, going backwards.
Well, don't forget Blast Unicorn helping her out there. That is a formidable 2-wall up front for the Heartless Heathers. Oh, Scarleen with some great diversionary tactics. Scald Eagle through, 5 more points, GNR.
That's what a team's all about. Offensive play like that is why this game is incredible.
Bacchanalia headed back to the penalty box for the Heartless Heathers, and another 5-point grand slam for Scald Eagle!
We are under a minute. It's 181-152. The Guns and Rollers have came alive in the last 2 minutes of this game.
Scarleen and Juvie Hall out front trying to slow down Scratcher in the eye. Scald Eagle 5-point grand slam!
And this jam is over. We've got 30 seconds left. Jungle, if this doesn't give you a rise, nothing will.
Timeout, Heartless Heathers. Guns and Rollers 186, Heartless Heathers 152.
In that last jam, Scald Eagle took advantage of that power jam and she scored 30 points. That was incredible.
I kind of remember not too long ago a final jam where Scald Eagle scored a ton of points against another team. I think that was Windy City from Chicago.
It absolutely was. We've seen this before time and time again. When the cards are down and those points need to be scored, Scald Eagle steps up to the plate once again.
Fans, if I can remind you, please, for me, for mic checks, please do not jump the wall at the end of the bout. I would like you all to stay here and watch the second bout, which should be just as good as the first one, so please don't. Thank you. Blast Unicorn on the jam line for the Heartless Heathers. Untamed Shrew for the Guns and Rollers. Now for all of you first-time fans here, the final jam does not end when the play clock ends. It ends when the jam is called off by the lead jammer or when the final jam expires. And we are off. Blast Unicorn trying to fight her way around Frankenherder. Frank dragging her all the way back, and it is Untamed Shrew, lead jammer, Guns and Rollers.
Blast Unicorn finally made her way out of that pack. She's working her way around. There's a lot of hitting going on there. Untamed Shrew, watch that clock wind down. This game is over. Unofficial score, 186 Guns and Rollers. Heartless Heathers 152.